I'd like to welcome you to the Monday version of Thought for the Day as we approach Palm Sunday and Holy Week and Easter. It's a really spiritual and good time of the year to think about who we are and what we are. And I like to reflect a little bit about my journey and some of my shortcomings and things that I can do better. I think one of the diseases that I have oftentimes is trying to be in control of stuff and trying to do everything, which brings me to the words for today, which are very simple. And they're from Mother Teresa. She was certainly one of God's angels. And here's one of the many, many things she said. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things. One of the things that I've learned over the past 2+ years is that there is, so much that we can't control. I mean, the pandemic, the journey, and on top of that, what's happening in Ukraine with Russia. There's so much that goes on, and we want to do something. We want to make a difference, but stepping back and understanding that there are just a lot of stuff that we can't control. And one of the things I've tried to learn, maybe too slowly, is to respect and understand the gifts that other people bring into our lives. To step back and knowing that, sure, there's things I can do. I have my share of gifts, at least a few, and you have your gifts. And being able to appreciate the gifts that somebody else brings into our life is truly one of the most important things. We've tried so hard over the past 2+ years to stay connected, and we've done a relatively good job. But if it wasn't for the gifts that other people bring to this church, there's no way we could do that. Sure, I can talk and I can preach, and I try to do that. But it's all the gifts that other people bring into this place that has helped us stay connected. And that does make a difference. We talked yesterday in church was really fun, and the story about Mary and Martha. And they invited Jesus to dinner. And Mary and Martha are sisters, and they're so different. Martha is the sister that's just dependable. She makes sure the house is clean. She's organized. And Mary is kind of the loose cannon. She's the free spirit. And when Jesus came over for dinner, Mary, we talked about this yesterday, Mary took that jar of expensive perfume and anointed Jesus with that. And the other people there, especially Judas, said, wait a second, what a waste of money. You could have sold that and given the money to the poor. And Jesus said, wait a minute, you're always going to have the poor, but you're not always going to have me. And that wasn't anything about the poor. That was just Jesus affirming that Mary took advantage of that moment when she knew that Jesus was there. She knew his spirit, and she gave recklessly to anoint him. And I was thinking about reckless giving. Too often I give when it's convenient, or maybe I give what's left over. But the message of the gospel yesterday was that sometimes giving needs to be reckless, over the top. There's no way that we can stay connected. There's no way that we can help people in Ukraine if our giving is just what's left over. That reckless giving from the heart and soul of who we are, is almost the key to life. And sometimes giving needs to be reckless. Giving needs to be just from the very heart and soul and depth of who we are. And I just hope as time goes on that I can learn to be a little bit more reckless in my giving, because Mary teaches us that you have to savor the moment. Sometimes it's those ordinary moments every day. That's where God lives and speaks to us. Speaking of reckless giving, there's a couple I'm thinking about today. They live in Florida. It's Bill Reynolds and his wife Nancy. Bill passed away last week after a long journey with cancer. And he called me on the phone about a month ago, and then Nancy sent me a nice email the other day, and I haven't seen them forever. And it would be easy to almost forget who they are. They've been gone for so long. And they told me that thought for the day is something that they hung on to. And that without the gifts that the people in this church bring to this place, they wouldn't have been touched by that thought for the day. And it made me realize that all the gifts that we have can really make a difference, one person and one moment at a time. And I realized that people like Bill and Nancy, they are miles away, and that they're part of who we are. They're part of our church, and they're part of our ministry. And every one of us is different. And if I can do one more thing, it'll be to step back and look at the gifts that everybody has to offer and realize that, yes, I need to use my gifts, but I need to say thank you to the gifts that other people have to offer. It's because of those gifts. It's because of reckless giving. It's because of unselfish giving that people like Bill and Nancy are nourished by the word that brings healing and brings hope. It's going to be an interesting journey, Holy Week, as we think about Jesus' journey to the cross. Jesus gave his entire life so that we might know how much God loves us. And I guess the least I can do is maybe be a little more reckless in what it means to give unto others. That brings us together. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. God bless.